Hello and welcome to Tech Journey Insights with me, Beverly Clark, and my co-host,
Rebecca Franks.
where we discuss our journeys in the world of tech, what's grabbing our attention, share tips with you, and encourage you to get stuck in to understand the world of tech and figure out how tech can take you forward. Okay, so Rebecca, what's grabbing your attention?
Well, so this week, or in the last few weeks, we've got Collins books that we wrote for Flip Computing for Collins, the primary books. They're slowly starting to come out now. I think they've almost all been released now for years for stage 1 to 6, which is quite
Ooh,
cool. So that's been really exciting. I've been getting lots of deliveries from Collins with all of our books, which has been great. We've also relaunched our 24 days book that we did last year, and that's doing really well. And I just love hearing about young people having a go at the activities. Yeah, like some of them are sneaking ahead because it's an advent calendar book, but they're
mm.
sneaking ahead and doing it now, which is quite fun. And yeah,
Can you
that's
show
doing
us
really
one of
well.
the pages? Can you give us a sneak?
Yeah, so
I
you've got
like
like a
that.
yeah, so you have like a little advent calendar for the different activities, and then there's some instructions on what to do in Scratch. So it's a lovely little book.
Say
And
to
then
you, I'll jump in there and say to you, because you have donated copies to the charity that we're both involved in. I'm the founder and you're chair of trustees, and it's
yeah.
really flying over on Twitter. We're getting lots of entrants into the competition to
Mm.
win a copy. So it's very timely and it's really helping. Our charity is Technology Books for Children, and it's really helping to normalize talking about tech.
Yeah.
There's family conversations around tech and young people dreaming about tech. Now, that might not sound like a thing, but if we can dream about fairies and princesses and talk about monsters, why not talk about tech, is what I say. And tech will actually help you in your life. So, thank you for donating those to the charity.
Yeah, well, that's it. We just want to get it out there and get more people using it. The other thing that we've done recently, Flip Computing, is we got textbooks for the Metaverse project awarded by the Creative Catalyst grant through Innovate UK. And we're designing a learning experience. So if you've got a Nintendo Switch or any games console actually that can play Fortnite, then by the end of November, you'll be able to type island code in. Just keep an eye on us on social media. You'll be able to type our island code in into Fortnite, and you'll be able to play our prototype learning experience. So remember, it's a prototype. We're testing it. We're testing it in Manchester with a group of young people just in a few weeks' time, which we're really excited about. And they're going to pilot it for us, give us lots of feedback, tell us how to make it better. And we're really, really excited about launch this because it is a totally new way of learning. And we're taking that sort of high quality learning that you get from a textbook and bringing it into a 3D immersive space so that more people can get access to great learning experiences. So we're trying it out. We're seeing if it works. And it's exciting that I love a Nintendo Switch,
I know
and
you're a
I
gamer.
I do lots of gaming on my Switch, and I can't wait to actually just sit in my living room and play on our island on my TV. I'm really excited about that. So we're getting very close to launching the prototype. But always remember, it's a prototype. It's gonna have little bugs here and there. It's not gonna be perfect, and that is absolutely fine. We want people's feedback. So yeah, a lot
Let
going on.
one
What's
of my nephews
what's
know.
what's going on with you, Beverly? Give me an update.
Well, I have been quite busy too, so I have got this. It's all about the books at the moment. So, a
Oh,
tech
very cool.
activity book. So, following on from my Ava and Chip book series, this complements the book series. It's got
Yeah.
fun facts. So, there is Chip. Uh,
Oh wow.
I forgot it there. There's mazes, and there's Ava with another fun facts. It's packed full of activities too,
Yeah.
all related to tech. And I think it's sort of the
Oh.
perfect stocking filler.
Yeah,
You
no,
can see
it does look
time.
cool. And look, the quality of that book's pretty good. Is that an Amazon KDP book? Is
It
it a
is Amazon KDP, and I
yeah?
worked out the entire process myself. Previously, I've used a publisher for some aspects of my publishing, but I
Mm.
gave myself a challenge, and
Yeah.
it's part of innovating, being a bit creative too. I really enjoyed it. I've been working most of the year on it, and
Yeah.
it says ages 7 to 11 on the front, but I'd say also it's suitable for the entire family because you can do it as a family and talk about tech, which I do think is really important. You can
Mm.
spot the difference there. So I've been on a journey of working
Yeah.
out how to do those types of things. For the metaverse word search also. So,
Oh.
so is the metaverse here? Is it not here? What is it? There's
Mm.
lots of nice facts. And I had to research some of them also and think about how to put them into the best child-friendly speak, because
Mm.
one of the things I like doing is taking the complex and breaking it down into the understandable, because I do
Yeah.
feel that's really, really important in terms of moving us forward. And as I keep saying, not presenting tech as something scary. It's how do we change the narrative of what's currently presented out there? So, playing my
Mm.
small part with the tech activity book,
Yeah.
I'm quite proud of that there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's grabbing my attention. And I've got another book I'm writing. So I've literally just been writing. We've spoken about this before in previous podcasts. When do you say you're an author? Well, I think we can say we're authors. I mean, that stuff behind me there, they're all my books or books up to two. And
Yeah.
it's a really special feeling to have
Mm.
discovered this creative side to myself. And
Yeah.
so started writing on Medium, also sharing my articles over there. So it's a creative outlet, and it's,
Yeah.
I'm glad I found it.
Yeah.
So it's continuing. I mean, for anyone listening, as I said, we share our insights and
Mm.
our tech journey, and hopefully it's serving as some form of encouragement to you as you progress through your career. It doesn't have to be just a tech career, but we are women in tech. But it could be,
Yeah.
just as you progress through your career, what can you do to innovate and move along? So a couple of things have been coming up. There's a headline, a few articles going around the tech and social media companies, and are they really responsible for mental health, and specifically teen mental health? And you've still got teenagers at home. I don't have
Mhm.
teenagers at home.
Yeah.
So is it responsible, or what's your parental responsibility?
Yeah, you definitely, as a parent, you have a responsibility to know what your children are doing online and how much time they're spending on social media and the kind of experiences that they've had. It's definitely a parent's job to look after those aspects of their lives. It's tricky because I always try and compare it to what was it like in the 80s and 90s that the parents had responsibility for, that you could blame other companies for. Like, I don't know, did that happen? I suppose fast food, maybe in those days there was
That's
some
still a
kind of,
problem.
yeah, it's still a problem now. You could blame, oh, fast food advertising, and that's why kids like sweets and fast food and things like that. So I kind of, that's where I relate it to. But if I'm thinking about it now, I do think the social media companies do definitely have a responsibility, especially with the whole checking the age limits and what they can actually view online. But also, I do think parents have to be involved with this. They can't leave it all up to these companies to do the parenting for them. Like, you have to step up as a parent and understand these platforms and what's going on, which takes some time. You have to learn
Oh
about
yes,
that and
yeah.
you use the technology yourself to see what it is actually doing. How is it affecting you? Like with TikTok, I started going on that in the pandemic, like out of boredom more than anything, I think. But yeah, so and I do have to limit my time on there because I do notice that I
Mhm.
can lose time on that, like definitely. And I'll get a pain in my elbow from holding my phone and doing
The
that.
whole RSI,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'll get that. And I use it. I see what happens to me because I'm very observant of what I'm doing. And then I
Mm,
think, okay, well, how can I talk to my children about this and make sure that they're thinking about that too, so
mm.
that they're not getting into that. It's the eye strain thing that gets me because like
Eye strain, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like if you are on these apps a lot, the eye strain can get really, really bad. We've seen that there's an increase in children that needing glasses and things like that
Mm,
at a younger age, a much younger age now. So there's obviously some kind of physical thing, but then there is the mental health side of it as well, and keeping that in check. But I just think that we're all responsible. Like we should be a community. That's how society should work. We're all responsible. So parents, anyone who's around young people or working with young people, it's up to you to have those
it's everyone,
conversations.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's also up to those social media companies to be responsible too. But we can't leave it up to them because
No, no, no. It's a
that's how.
collective responsibility.
Yeah, yeah.
Understanding. I mean, you just mentioned something there that the eye strain. So I have been suffering with bouts of dizziness, not entirely caused
Mm,
by lighting, but I realized that lighting caused a problem. So lots of these
yeah.
bright lights. I mean, I've got a ring light on at the moment, but going into
Mm,
shops, I was getting bouts of dizziness. Now, some
yeah.
of it is due to a thyroid problem I've got, light sensitivity, develop light
Mm,
sensitivity. And so when I go into shops now, I've got these tinted glasses I've got to wear, which
mm,
took me by surprise, but it
yeah.
literally took me months to work it out. And it was, I'd been to a concert and it's dark when I've come out of the concert at night. And I just happened to look into a shop and it was very, very bright. And it happened there. And I thought, what's going on here? I'm not
Mm,
hungry. I'm not ill. I haven't I've been drinking. There's nothing that's what's going on. And I slowly started working out every time there were bright lights. So that's yet another impact. And I
mm,
say this because I notice it can happen watching a telly. Suddenly you get a burst of bright light. So all the
mm,
digital or in the phones, anything flashes up and that can cause a problem too. So there are more people with light sensitivity and suffering other issues as a
yeah,
result of the digital age. So if you're
yeah.
noticing strange things that you can't explain, start writing it down, breaking it down, thinking about what's going on here, and you will realize it's you need tinted glasses to go into the shop. So I've got a new look when I go shopping.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, I mean, when I was very poorly with vertigo and things like that, I had to wear sunglasses for about 6 months to
Mm.
sort of to retrain my eyes to work properly. So like I spent a lot of time with sunglasses on, and yeah, and a lot of it was light or just too much, too much stuff in front of
Yeah,
my
yeah, that's what
my
I've got
eyes.
too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, it's just too overstimulated eyes. Like, but I wonder if LED lighting potentially is it good for us LED lights? Because I mean, even with the cars at night time now we're getting to darker nights. If you're driving and there's these brand new LED there and they are so bright, like it's worrying.
Yes, it has been coming up in the news, and people have
Mm,
literally had to pull over and stop,
yeah.
unable to drive because of the bright lights. And I noticed last week I was coming back not very late, maybe 6:30, and I was struggling. And you
Mm,
can't really don your sunglasses in the middle of the night to drive and
no,
going to work.
no.
So many of the aspects of the modern age, I do
Mm-hmm.
think, are having terrible impacts upon us. But also, the modern age is also leading to great excitement and discovery and
Mm,
so forth. So it's this balance, and I do think we need to keep having these conversations, because if you're sort of struggling on your own with light when you're driving, light when you're going shopping, and you start getting these physical symptoms,
mm,
vertigo, dizziness, all of it,
mm.
but it is the environment, it's the environmental impact of tech.
Yeah.
And it's something I think we really need to keep at the forefront and keep discussing what's
Mm,
going on.
yeah.
Because I thought it was my age, but it's nothing to do with that whatsoever. I'm just going out. I've written out a few things here, I wanted to sort of talk through today. And I got someone forwarded me an article, Can the Tech Be Trusted? And essentially, it was a BBC article where a couple took Google to court over many years, about a 15-year protracted process, because they
Mm,
launched their startup and effectively they found themselves not to the top of the rankings, and they were just being pushed down in the rankings, and
yeah.
they were just never being seen, so effectively damaging their business. And the reason why I've brought this up is because we both are entrepreneurial, and when you invest money into things like social media advertising, how do
Mm,
you where it goes?
yeah.
I'm using Facebook advertising. I think you're using Amazon advertising. How do you, if who is seeing your advert? Where is our sort of proof? I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what you think about that.
No, it is tricky. So yeah, I think I talked in our last podcast about starting with Amazon marketing
Yeah.
for our books, and it is a learning curve. I'm starting to see sort of I think I'm about 5 or 6 weeks in now, and I
Mm.
am starting to see sort of we're getting to a point where we're kind of balancing to sort of we're not. we're not like we're about 0% basically.
Mm.
So all the money that we've spent is slowly sort of coming back to us, and then hopefully we're getting to a point of growth. But that has taken quite a lot of trust and a little bit of anxiety in terms of, well, we're spending this money, but I'm not seeing anything back. What's going on? But we were getting lots of impressions. We were getting quite a few clicks as well. So, and I think now because it's a Christmassy themed book as well, it is getting to that time of year as well where we should see growth. If it's a good book, it should sell like on that. But yeah, it is a bit because like you're paying this money and you're like, well, where's it going? I know that we've done in the past, we've done Instagram ads,
Mm.
and you'll put £20 into that, and like 2 days later, your £20 is gone and nothing's happened.
You
And you're
haven't,
like,
yeah, you got
well,
that back, yeah.
no, like what's going on? But there are obviously professional social media marketers out there that know exactly how it works and where it's going. But when you're learning and it's your money that you're spending, it's quite a scary feeling, especially when you're not seeing results. So with the KDP marketing, we are starting to see results. So I guess it is working, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
in a
yeah.
way. I mean, you've got to put some trust into it. But yeah, until you get that proof yourself with your own thing, it's very hard to believe that it is doing anything. But
It's a
yeah,
process.
if I was getting absolutely nothing and paying money, I would be like, nah.
Well, that actually leads quite nicely into the part of the podcast where we share some tips. I mean, we've shared lots of tips already, but it's that sort of how much money do you invest when you're starting
Mm,
up yourself? How much do
yeah.
you invest? Because everything, there's a cost attached to every single thing. So, what would your best advice be to anyone who's on a journey where they're having to advertise?
Yeah, I think you do have to accept, especially, I mean, I've been selling books on Amazon KDP for quite some time now. I started off doing my Willow Finds an Egg book, which was a story about a girl and learning about scratch blocks and things like that as she's going along through her little story, which is quite, so I've
Yeah.
been doing that. I have been using Amazon KDP for quite a long time now, but I've never advertised. So
Mm.
it's like, but what company out there doesn't advertise? Like,
Advertising is product, you've got
you
to
have to
advertise it.
advertise.
Otherwise, yeah.
But yeah, it's really hard to accept because you're having to give up your own money, and that's the hardest thing, isn't it? So I think if somebody wanted to set up their own book publishing business, but it doesn't have to be Amazon KDP, that's just the one that I use. There's lots of other great ones out
Yes,
there.
yes,
But
yes.
you do have to say, look, I need money for potentially a Canva subscription. I need to think about how much time I'm going to spend on this because even though like you might not pay yourself, your time is money. Like you
Absolutely,
have
yes,
to put a
yeah.
value on that. And then how much am I going to spend on marketing? And really, you do have to spend on marketing. You
Mhm.
cannot. I would probably say you're going to need at least £200 to get you
Mm.
going with Amazon marketing. If you can do a lot of the sort of design work and things like that yourself, just a Canva subscription, the paid for one where you actually get the license to the images, you're going to have to pay for that and then your time. But if you haven't got those skills, pay someone to do it because if it's not the best book in the world, then it's not going to sell. So you've got to make sure that that's right as well. But everything's a learning curve. So it's all about you trying things, seeing if they work. If they don't, try something else and keep getting better every single time. Every
Mm.
time you bring your next book out, make it a better book and keep sort of
Oh,
that
yeah, it's
growth.
a curve, and you can see
Yeah.
that growth. And I
Yeah.
do feel like I add there being adaptable, which is what you just said there. It's
Yeah.
really being adaptable and your awareness, being
Mm.
self-aware,
Yeah.
standing in your customer's shoes, essentially, and thinking, right,
Mm.
what is the other person seeing when they see this advert? What message am I truly communicating? So, really critically reflect.
Mm.
Done an advert and it doesn't look good. You've got to then go back and redo it in Canva or other software of that sort. You've really just got to go back and develop your own practice. Don't think,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's done, because nothing is ever done when you're self employed, really. I'd say remain curious. So look
Mm.
at all the adverts. So when I'm on social media and I'm looking at adverts, I'm looking at what's attracted me to sort of linger a bit longer in an advert.
Yeah.
I was at, I was at my hairdresser last week, and she had been experimenting with transition videos on TikTok, and she managed to get 255,000 views on one.
Wow.
Yeah, she was
That's
really, really
amazing.
happy. It's
Yeah.
yeah, but she learned TikTok. And so
Mm.
one of the strange things, when I'm in a hairdresser's chair, she's fantastic with hair and I know tech. So we do actually share. So she was very
Mm.
keen to show me this. And then it led to a conversation about Google Lens. And this was just really great in the hairdresser's chair, how tech was being used
Yep.
in different sectors. And so she's got
Mm.
copies of my books in her salon for the kids that come in. So it's just really, really nice. Being curious, I'd say that's one of my top tips. So you've got the hairdresser exploring a TikTok and using it within her business, and us
Mm.
using it within our business. Is being curious is, I'd say, is probably my number one tip this week in
Yeah.
developing your journey. And I tell you what, actually, that was my number one. But number two, which is closely interlinked, is invoicing.
Oh gosh, yes. I think we've talked about this before, invoicing.
Yeah,
Oh, the
invoice.
night. Yeah.
Here's an example.
Mm.
30 working days or 30 days. There is a big difference there when you have that in the bottom of an
Yeah.
invoice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it is. But it does impact upon you, especially when you're developing and growing your business. Grow thick skin and be prepared to chase for unpaid invoices. Have your
Yeah.
wording ready, whether it's on the phone or emails or whatever you do. Automate if it needs be that
Mm.
process for unpaid invoices. A couple of things that we've learned along our tech journeys. In every episode, we'll add a few more.
Yeah, I definitely think that there is a space, and I don't know if it already exists, but for freelancers, I mean, I don't know, maybe it does exist, but a
This is a business
place.
idea coming up here.
No, 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 no. Well, no, it is. It's a business idea, definitely. So, a website where money gets held a little bit like how Fiverr works. So I think I'm pretty sure I haven't used Fiverr for a while now, but I think when you employ someone on Fiverr, you pay your money, so it sits there in a pot, and then when you're happy, that
Yeah,
money immediately goes to the person. And I feel like that is probably how it should work with freelancers. There needs to be this space where if you get a contract with a company, that money then gets put straight in a pot somewhere, and then as soon as you both agree, yeah, happy, the money gets sent immediately to that person.
I like
Like I
that.
feel like
Yeah,
that is how it should work. Like we work with an agency, Instinct Resourcing. They're a brilliant recruitment agency. And that is pretty much kind of how that works. We'll invoice and then we'll get paid around 5 days later. But
that's good.
which to me is brilliant. Like that's how it should work for freelancers. Nobody should be waiting really longer than a week for their
For
money.
the money,
You know,
yeah,
we do it with our contractors. Whenever we contract anyone, I will always try and I try my best to do it the day of invoice if I can, but we always say within 7 days we will pay that person because like I'm not going to employ someone as a contractor without knowing the money is there, right there to pay to pay them. So
well,
as soon as it comes in, out it goes. Because
I
I,
respect your
yeah,
values there. Not
yeah,
everyone's like that.
no,
That's the problem, right?
yeah, but that's how it should work. Like to me, I would feel bad if I waited 6 weeks to pay someone who had been like working really hard for me for like a month. Like to me, I just couldn't morally do that. Like I just couldn't, unless I was waiting for someone else to pay and whatever. And at that point, you're honest with the person. You say, look, yeah, I can't pay you until then. But no,
There's a chain that sometimes you need to understand, I guess, at some level,
yeah,
where we sit in the chain as contractors, but it can be challenging. And I've heard of this in all sorts of different industries. So I think that
mm,
idea of this contractor portal, I
mm,
quite like that. We might have sort of spurred somebody into action here who's going to develop that. And if you're listening and you,
yeah, 5% of the business.
of course, royalties.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'll tell you what else has been grabbing my attention. Films. Now, I do like a film with a sort of tech sort of slant. So I mean, I'm a fan of all the Terminator type films and all of that. And
Mm.
Tim, Tim, T dot
Right.
I dot M. It's on Netflix and it was recommended to me. It had me gripped. I've got like a 5 minute rule, 5 to 10 minute rule with any film. Start it.
Is that the one with the robot that's quite realistic looking?
Yes, the male robot.
Right, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it.
try and catch up with it. It's really good. So essentially the couple, they move out, and it's actually set in England too, into the countryside, and she's working for a female lead, as she's a lead engineer there. She is working in this company. Have developed the Tims, which are these male robots, but they're your assistants, and everybody that works for the company has their own Tim at home. So Tim is
Mm.
doing everything. Tim is cooking your food, doing the washing. Is your personal assistant. He's got access to your bank account. He's literally doing everything. But
Mm.
Tim becomes a bit evil.
Mm.
He ends up, without spoiling it, things happen to the
Yeah.
neighbors, her husband, to her.
Oh
Tim
gosh.
is just wicked, very, very
Mm.
wicked. But some parts of it, it was so close to reality, and then you start thinking, well, how would you prove that it wasn't you? Yeah, especially since you have the power to turn Tim off.
Yeah.
Tim can't speak, and then you're trying to say, well, it was him that did it. It's like that makes no sense in the world in which the real world, but in the world with Tim's, it's a reality. And I've always been curious. Is the film X? Is it Machina? Or it's again, we had the female robot in that. She became
Mm.
very, very, very sentient there and
Yeah.
created havoc. And I do wonder if this is being tested somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And it's so
Mm.
close to reality because there's still lots of people who think self-driving cars are something distant. But
Mm.
as I've discussed before, they're real. I've been in
Yeah.
self-driving cars on a few occasions. There was
Yeah.
a chat going on Mumsnet recently, or Mumsnet, Net Mums? Oh, one of those two, Net Mums, I
Yeah.
think it was, about self-driving cars because I think it was Joe Wicks was it Joe Wicks? I'm going to get my facts right here. But essentially, there was one of our UK celebrities was over in the US and was in a self-driving car with their family and talking about what it
Mm.
was like and their experience being in a self-driving car. And so it's real. It's here.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
and there's a time when that was just appearing film and it's like, oh well, the car is driving on its own. Now Tims are appearing on film. I think someone has got a Tim somewhere.
Yeah. Potentially. Yeah. I mean that. I never know if it's real or not, but I didn't Tesla come out with a robot recently. I can't.
Ooh,
I never know. Was it real? It's like AI thing. Like, was it a deep fake or did it actually happen? I don't know. But I'm sure they've got a robot in the making. And then there's that. Oh gosh, I've completely forgotten the really famous. Oh, robotics. What on earth are they called now? The one that started off like a little kind of dog robot, and then it's become human, and it does all those acrobatics.
oh, is it the one we see at all the conferences, all walking
Yes.
around? I know the one. We put a link into it. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we put a link into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's great when you see that one. Yeah,
Mm.
and it's a bit sort of unnerving also. And
Yep.
every time I see it, there's always a big group of people around because you just can't quite believe that this is there. But I mean, robotics is really, really helpful in so many different fields. It
Yeah.
draws you in, and then you can have the conversation. So
Yeah.
robotics. I've got vacuum cleaners and all sorts. So they're all robots. So they're not always humanoid or dog shaped or anything. Robotics are built into so many different things. So yeah, it's a curious one. But if you can watch T.I.M, I would.
I might watch. I'm watching Lioness at the moment on Paramount Plus, which is
All
very
right.
good. But I might watch this movie at the weekend, see what it's about.
Now, little birdie has told me that you have made a very brave move with your company
Okay.
and you have deactivated Twitter account.
Yes. Yes.
This is very big
So
at the moment.
yeah, well, I think there's been lots of stuff that has
Mm.
happened on Twitter over since Elon Musk took it over that I haven't really agreed with. There's been lots of changes as we've got along. It's got less accessible, just seeing more sort of porn bots and all those kinds of things all the time. but then I do think the final straw was the change in the terms and conditions, which I think happened a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, where the wording is very strange. And the way it reads to me, and all contracts, terms and conditions should be readable for humans and easy to understand. But so the way that I interpret it, the way that I have read it, and the way of lots of people have interpreted it,
Mhm.
is that they basically have a license to all your content and images, and they can sell that to whoever they want. That's the way it's worded from my point of view. And I think potentially the reason they've got wording like that is because of AI training processes that happen. And I think there's a there's laws changes happening in America, particularly because they're trying to be quite hot on this in terms of who owns the images that are fed into these training models,
Yes, yeah.
and the whole thing that happens under the hood.
Hmm.
And then who owns the output. So I imagine that the reason the wording has changed is because of something to do with that, but I don't like it. So we take pictures of events, of ourselves, and videos, and I don't agree to giving my image to any. I don't want to see myself on a billboard or in an advert or something randomly.
Mm.
And because I've accepted the terms and conditions, I've agreed to that. I don't know where it's going to end up, so I'm done with Twitter.
But isn't it the case that this is on all platforms that we use? Mainly, many of them are free. I know that Twitter's now got its premium version, but if you're
Mm.
using WhatsApp, potentially the same thing could happen. If you're using
Mm.
Facebook, I think Facebook has had this controversy going on before. Instagram, they're all, well, Facebook, Instagram, all of them. So is it part of the ills of using social media platforms and using free platforms in this age in which we're living?
Yeah, I think for me it was the wording of they can sell your image to someone else and use it for other purposes. So I don't know, because I haven't read the Facebook. I mean, I'm not on Facebook anyway, so I don't know what's happening with the actual Facebook license. But the I don't know, can they do that? Is
I,
Twitter the first one that's been that specific?
I'm not entirely sure, but I know this has come up
Mm.
before in other ways
Yeah,
with
yeah,
images being used.
yeah,
For me, the most offensive is the pornography and the bots, the porno bots.
yeah,
And
yeah.
ignoring them is easy, but if you allow your account just to be flooded by those, then it's just
Mm.
destroyed what
Yeah,
Twitter should be. So I
yeah.
mean, I think I've mentioned before, I've been experimenting with Blue Sky because I do think we need more wholesome environments. This week, you're in work mode, and I felt completely violated. There was
Mm.
female anatomy, a
Mm.
vagina, basically, on
Mm.
not even with like the cross through of the sensitive content. This was just presented to me on Twitter. It's not
Mm.
something I've asked for. And I
Yeah,
tried to report it, but I was horrified that it said this doesn't go against Twitter rules. So now
yeah,
it says that. So
yeah.
images can be posted. Where possible, they will try to put a warning across it, but this one didn't. That's it. So I didn't report it because there's no point. So
Yeah.
it's something
Well,
I'm
that's the
adjusting my mind to. It's like, well, I'm going to use it less because that's not what I want to see.
yeah. But yeah, and also like I was getting every morning I'd wake up and it said that I had 10 notifications, and I'd go in and they weren't notifications, they were just random things, and I switched off all notifications on the account, and still the next morning, no, 10
Mm.
notifications to things that aren't notifications. And I was just like, I can't be doing with this, because like I can't have the notification numbers on my apps. It drives me mad. So like I have to
Cut down, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I was just like, I can't keep doing this every day. Like this task for Twitter. Like, and I tell you what, it's been so freeing not being on it. I tell you what, I have my mood has been better. Like it's totally changed. So it is a real shame, because my early career was getting on Twitter and making a lovely community of computing teachers and educators and all that kind of stuff. And I really, really feel quite I was quite upset, to be honest, when I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
deactivate and come out of it, because I was like, this is this whole world that I had for all these years,
yeah.
and it's gone. But I felt like it had gone anyway over the last 6 months. It didn't feel like people were talking much on Twitter anyway. Whether that's because I got a premium account and I wasn't seeing who I
You've been
wanted to see.
pushed
I don't.
right down the bottom.
Exactly, exactly. So it wasn't the place it was anyway. So it wasn't like I was really leaving it because it wasn't the same place. So yeah, I'm much happier out of it. And it does worry me that all these social media platforms are going to start doing this with these rules and everything. And
Mm.
I almost think, do we need a fresh start when it comes to social media? Do we need to start
Well,
again?
this is where I would be encouraging young people and talking about this with our educator hats on. What is
Mm,
needed? Because there's a couple of things you just mentioned there. These, when it says you've got 10 notifications, I like to have
yeah.
my phone cleared down, but
Mm,
then you don't have that control anymore. So
yeah.
what's the point of all these notifications coming at you? I mean, maybe the psychologists will have a better answer around this. But
Mm,
what's the point of them? What are they trying to sort of pump out at you? I'm not
yeah.
going to react to all of it or any of it.
Mm,
And also, when I was teaching, I used to ask my students, encourage them, say, well, what would happen if you didn't use social for half a day or a day? And we'd have
mm,
this as sort of a moral and ethical conversation. Because back
yeah.
then, after teaching Monday to Friday and engaging with tech, I would have most of Saturday is tech free or sometimes all of the weekend. And
Mm,
it does evoke a very different emotion inside of you. As you said, you missed it because we're always going to it.
mm,
And I would say some of the things I've done is started off by not just turning and going onto the socials while you're waking up, just
mm,
doing something else, retraining your brain, or just having specific time when you go on to social. I don't have my notifications on because I just can't deal with all that ping, ping, ping. It's
mm,
disruptive. Or you go out with friends and somebody's looking at their watch, or then starts talking to their watch or something, or then there's the phone, and that's like, no, phones away,
yeah.
human time. And that's really, really important. And I may be a demanding friend in that way, but if I'm out with you, I want to be with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't want your phone, or my
Yeah.
phone is in the bag. Don't want to see it.
Mm,
It's like I've said before, going to the gym. I don't want my phone in the gym because then I can be disrupted, but I'm there to exercise. It's really important.
mm,
So anyway, I know we can go on about this forever and discuss lots of things. So it's been really great to sort of explore the world of tech again and
yeah.
what's going on. Just to say to anyone who's listening to us, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know what else you'd like us to discuss, and what have your experience been in your world of tech and your interactions with tech.
Mm,
So sorry, I just got my throat caught there. This is, problems with being on air. So, but thank you so much. I am Beverly Clark. Reach out if you'd like to work with me. You can find me across on LinkedIn and on social media platforms. And I've been joined by
Rebecca Franks, and you can find me on LinkedIn. That's my professional place to get in touch with me.
absolutely the professional place to get in touch with us.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important in this
Yeah.
digital age. So
Yeah.
thank you so much and hope to see you again soon and talk to you and you can listen to us. Okay, bye.
Bye.